The mirror. If you're scared, if you have become avoidant and or periodically obsessive, if these moments aren't specifically channeled depending on the fluctuations in life, the minds eventually fold to the ugly. The minds over time adapt to just being ugly. Or the other end, feeling overly validated based on an actual and metaphorical mask worn every day. To me, this is the most important area of distress in the people. It's a lifelong depression, of a not liking of who they've become and their very own reflection, which usually happens in the integrity building moments that we neglect, that we let fear take over and come in, where we fall short. Resentment compounds. When the body internally feels ugly or small, depression changes the reflection. This is the excessive need for the mask. I believe this disorder, mixed with the imbalance of and lack of health standards in men versus women, meaning the women have them but the men do not, and not necessarily health but beauty, and usually you have to take care of the body to have beauty. The extremes that have people programmed to meet the competition of who's the richest dad, who's the sexiest mom. Competition, I said. It creates a lack of connection to the self, which is solidified through a healthy relationship to our reflection. Actualizing the self is a part of the reasoning behind babies spending time with them, the mirrors. This unfortunately stops for whatever reason, leaving the only real mirrors being what others mirror to us and to the babies. Which, as the people unfortunately grew, their esteem is based on the parents' inability to maintain internal security, the parents' physical to mental inadequacies. We end up seeing ourselves through those people's eyes. The reflection swaps. If you're not connected to the self, if you haven't been actualized. Time daily regulating in the mirror is one of the most important practices to the human. In harnessing their power, in avoiding disempowering moments throughout the day because of facial and body dysmorphic disorder. Remember, I missed something. Which is mostly I am better or worse. The inadequacies that are spread. It's an idea of we're better or we're worse than others. Maybe because of the idea of for better or worse. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. And the roots to weeds, not flowers. This process is a means of control, facial and body dysmorphic disorder. And comparison is a means of control when we can't put ourselves and others in boxes. This is what we're wanting to do. When we label them, the mind feels at ease, safe, knowing the mind is screaming and grasping for stability through the obsessing. I'm telling you to know that the mind is screaming and grasping for stability through the obsessing. a combination of facial and body dysmorphic disorder and the need to compare, to compete, to be superior. This process is a means of control. We want to label these people and ourselves. The mind feels at ease, safe. Know the mind is screaming and grasping for stability through the obsessing of all or nothing, through the extremes of both. Depending on what extreme you sit in, the balance would be monetized by you. And it says to explain. So basically, depending on if you're an avoidant or if you are one to obsess over the reflection, meaning you like to look in reflections, but you don't like what you see and you pick on yourself the whole time, or you avoid reflecting altogether all the time. So there's also people that are out there that like their reflection, people like me in the in-between. Anyways, but we all deserve enjoyed time reflecting. Gamma mode is what is most important. The state we practice that keeps us in a loving critique. A learning state for the body. This is the difference between those that make progress in the gym and not. Just remember, if we're relying on outside sources to tell us that we're attractive, to give us the validation we need to survive, we will never like what we see in the mirror. You have to become comfortable with it to where you like what you see in the reflection more than what anyone mirrors to you. Because your reflection becomes theirs. You end up seeing yourself through their eyes. And if there's somebody that you love that has insecurity, it will be projected onto you. This is where low self-esteem stems from. This is where all insecurities in relationships stem from. Period. Striving for validation from a partner is dangerous because it puts you in comparison with all the other hers when you're in the room with him. I don't do that anymore. I validate myself in the mirror, in my mirror work, in my mirror time, so I don't need him to give me compliments. But I do note if they're withheld, and I do note if they are given and then withheld. So I'm getting off track. Basically, a learning state for the body. This is the difference between those who make progress in the gym or not. Gamma mode. If one resides on outside sources for validation, our reflection becomes theirs. What we see in our reflection is projected out into the eyes of other people when we're talking to them. So that's how I see the insecurity in people when I'm looking in their eyes. So the importance of keeping the mirror reflection clean, what you see in the whatever you're looking in, is literally key. It's key for everything. The success of your life in general, like what you can accomplish. We cannot lie about this. We cannot be in denial about this. Okay, the state I reside in for mirror work at the gym allows space to focus on the visual and mental feelings of growth and progression. Excuse me. But people also see our insecurities in our meta communication, don't they? I'm not in understanding of why the minds now think it's cute or funny to show everyone their insecurities. I know I've said this before. Watching your progression in the mirror supports the mind and the body into higher realms of esteem, or consciousness, you could say. Bodybuilding, if approached properly, is based on internal systems and structure built over time. Not only in principle, but also the insides physically. It builds a strong relationship with the body and mind. This is what they call seeing now. They call it seeing, like seers, which is a rarity. If you can actually see into yourself, straight up intimacy, into me see, into me see, into my body. How much can you see into you? How deep can you go, visually speaking? Yes, metaphorically too. Many though, stop at the superficial stage. Staying here is when the relationship stagnates and begins needing external substitutes. People, things, pets, they create relations with for purely validating whatever masked insecurities one has. The minds need a retraining of all the focus on specific processes that assist in harboring the self-hate they have into content creation, which would be the body, creating the body, upbuilding the body, uplifting the body through the tree, through the backbone, quite literally. So it's needed. These are needs that must be met to have and nourish healthy relations. An out-training of any hypercritical, hypervigilant, hyper-analytical approach to ourselves, which are literally holding a mood. This is a mood disorder. It's creating mood disorders in the bodies. Recreating mood disorders in the body. This process and this disorder is the root of all insecurities. The root of destruction in all relationships, all marriages. So, if we are focused on connecting to our strength internally to externally during regulated mirror work, which would be our eyes using the peripheral vision to correct any structural imbalances, building through the core, mentally, emotionally to physically. So you're so fixated, that hyperfixation is like channeled into the core and keeping your core tight from the inside out, which challenges you mentally, spiritually, physically, and every which way. The act of literally looking in your eyes through the determination in progression, through the set, challenging yourself physically like that, it is the most intimate you can get with yourself. It is what is going to actualize the mind to body. Consistency compounds. So daily channeled mirror work in moments of structured power poses. So basically structured in your most upright heart posture under the weight. Encouraged moments in our most upright heart posture develops our internal connection and actualization. We have to be empowered and visually interacting with the self in every which way we can think it. This is how we actualize ourselves. For real, for real. And while we're doing this, we are strengthening the relationship we have with ourself and our cells. The cells, our cells in the body, which are creating our structure. That means everything. I know, everyone's like, oh my God, what's the big deal? Like, Life is miserable when you're not reflecting. Life becomes miserable. Look, I want to fix my hair and I want to like make sure it looks good because like I like to feel good, which includes looking good. How do you feel good about yourself, your face, and your body? Is it based off of devaluing somebody else's and projecting those feelings out? And then receiving validation from the outside world enough to keep you afloat? But not really, is it? You don't like your reflection. It's showing. It's showing in everybody. Or do you face the reflection and you look at it dead in the face and you say, wow, I could be changing daily based off of my... Or do you go out actually loving yourself, which includes what you look like? You get yourself, you put the work in to receive the reflection that you enjoy. Which means going to the gym daily, which means alignment daily, throughout the day, all day, as much as you can. Because any other direction is going to take you to the floor. Every which way you can think it. Your lack of integrity building through your reflection is what takes you down, is what has you falling short. We literally create structure in the face and body through strength. I mean, that's just the looks of it all. We aren't talking about the mind yet. I mean, the mind must be strengthened, otherwise what we see is very ugly no matter the external seeing. There's an intimacy to the seeing, to the body. It has all the senses popping online, just straight popping. Okay, get a gamma mode, senses popping. Cognitive function. We lack function. Functional. Hey.